What's up, sports bettors? Get out the Michelob Ultras. We have NFL, we have college football, and I'm going to be taking you through some incredible bets for this weekend. So let's get into it. So Alabama, Texas, obviously two big names. On Pinnacle Sportsbook, you can see the best odds for the money line, at least, on Alabama. Although, there's tons of things you can bet. Apparently, you can also bet on a limited amount of sports books. There are college football player props. And again, anything you want to browse is going to be free on OddsJam. Free odds comparison, real-time odds from hundreds of sports books, okay? All over the world, right? And you can browse odds for any sport you want to bet on, of course. But that's not related to the bet we're placing. Although I will say price is important, right? My background is, I worked as a quant on Wall Street, and then I started OddsJam, and obviously, price is very important, and that's something you learn. If you go to the store, and there's two items. They're exactly the same items. You can buy one cheaper, you're buying the cheaper item, right? And in sports betting, really looking for value and finding these edges is what makes you profitable versus unprofitable. So as an example here, if you're looking at Bryce Young passing yards, you should not be betting at worse odds at a higher total, on the over. If you're betting Bryce Young over 321.5 on DraftKings when FanDuel, which is probably in your location, is giving you minus 114, you're screwed from the get-go. You're never going to make money sports betting. Never. Because you're getting terrible prices and terrible lines, right? That's why it's so critical to line shop. But anyways, let's get into the bet. So the bet I have is actually in the Iowa State game. So another pretty big game. Should be a better game than Alabama, Texas. And the bet I'm on is Iowa State versus Iowa under 20.5 first total points. First half total points, right? So this is a positive EV bet. So OddsJam, there's a ton of betting tools, kind of everything. It's just based in data, right? It's just based in odds. There's no BS. There's no finger to the wind. The Lakers are guaranteed to win today, like old school Vegas. Nothing like that, right? The way that OddsJam works is it takes data from all these sports books and then compares lines to each other to try to show you, okay, where's the value? Right? So if we take a look at this bet, you can see in Iowa State, most sports books have the under 20.5 points priced at around minus 130, right? On Betfred, you can get minus 115. And then on Caesars, you can get minus 110, minus 110. So, right, all the sports books have the under heavily juiced. Whereas on Caesars, you can just get casually minus 110. So it's pretty clear there's good value in this bet, and you can quantify that, right? The way that sportsbooks make money is they charge the vig. They charge the juice, right? Minus 110, minus 110. You're betting 110 to win only 100, right? That's the vig. That's the spread. That's how sportsbooks make money. It's not like if I want to bet on the over, they charge me a fee. They make money by adding their vig. So what you have to do to figure out, well, what does a sportsbook think the true price is remove the vig, right? So OddsJam has a, no vig odds calculator where if you put in, let's say, the odds for a bet, it will tell you the win probability as well as, the fair price, the true price. So if it's minus 110, and it's equal and opposite outcomes, the win probability for both bets is obviously going to be 50% because it's the exact same price on the over and the under, and they're equal and opposite outcomes. The over has to hit or the under. So according to Caesars, they're both equally likely to hit, right? So sportsbooks imply win probabilities in true prices through their odds, right? So just kind of looking here, it's like, well, when every sportsbook is pricing something at, minus 130, let's say you could get under 20.5 at plus 100 odds. That would seem like an even better bet, right? Because DraftKings has this priced at minus 130. So you can kind of quantify your profit margin. There will be a video on the end screen, kind of more about the math behind sports betting, how to work out the formulas, your profit margin, stuff like that. But long story short, basically, when you find bets that are positive EV, such as right here, you can blindly bet the page and make money, right? So when you find positive EV plays, whether on DFS companies like Underdog Fantasy or Prize Picks, or on sportsbooks, you may not win that bet. Nobody can guarantee you money. You're not going to win every day as a sports bettor. That's not how it works. But when you have an edge, right, you're guaranteed to make money in the long run, right? The stock market has returned like 8% a year. If it goes down in one day, it's like normal, right? So as a sharp bettor, you're not looking to win every bet. You're looking to win 55% of bets as opposed to 50% of your bets on totals and spreads, right? So I ended up hammering it. Let's go. Love betting on college football. So you can see my bet right here, $1,500, Iowa State. Under 20.5 first half total at minus 110 odds. My bet has a 2.84% profit margin, which you can see right here. So there are some videos about how to calculate your profit margin if you're curious, like how do you take sportsbook odds, and back out profit margin. But right, the way that OddsJam works is basically comparing these lines and then weighting, the sharper sportsbooks. Pinnacle's the sharpest sportsbook, for example, to try to back out the true price once you remove the vig, which is kind of like, the midpoint, right? If someone's saying, hey, I'll buy this for $2, I'll sell it for $3, they probably think it's worth somewhere between $2 and $3. They're charging a spread, right? But they probably think it's worth something like $2.50 if they're buying it at $2 and selling it at $3, right? And it's kind of the same thing here. When sportsbooks have the under juiced all the way to minus 130, and they have the over around plus 110, plus 106, minus 105, probably the under is something like minus 120, minus 115, right? That's the true price. And we're getting minus 110. Which is much better odds than the true odds, which is why this bet has a profit margin that you can quantify mathematically, right? So the way you think about sports betting is, right, you literally consider every sportsbook in the market as an independent data point, right? The odds on Pinnacle, this is the sharpest sportsbook, you put more weight in them. There's the odds on DraftKings, and you kind of like look at the entire market and try to figure out what's the profit margin on my bet. And for this $1,500 bet, it's $42. So I'm $42 richer. If you give me $40, I'm not giving you my bet. This is a good bet, right? And your goal is just kind of place as many bets as possible. You're essentially forming your own hedge fund of mathematically profitable bets. And if you don't believe bets can be profitable, because a lot of people say, oh, you can't make money sports betting, it's gambling. It's like you can place arbitrage bets. If you know anything about what an arbitrage bet is, it means you can make risk-free money, right? You can make risk-free money sports betting by betting on equal and opposite outcomes. You can bet an over and an under and make a risk-free profit, right? So that concept alone proves that there are profitable bets. If you can make risk-free money betting on equal and opposite outcomes, one bet at least has to be profitable, right? So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really do. And let's make some money.